So, if you're familiar with the channel, you probably know there are two Twilight Princess PC ports being worked on right now. One of them is the Dusk Project, which I've only recently begun to cover. And when the Dusk Project was announced, people were hyped. It seemed like everything we ever wanted. And Courage Reborn was starting to sink into the background. People have now been seeing the Dusk Project as the main PC port, which makes sense. However, just recently, Courage Reborn dropped its own trailer, obviously in response to the Dusk Project's trailer. And my god, does it look good. Now, I'm not going to make you rewatch the entire trailer, that would just be rude. It'll be linked down below, so if you want to go watch it, go watch it. I'm just going to be talking about some of the stuff you may have missed. Now, I won't tease you. Yes, Courage Reborn has a typo. Twilight Princess, as in multiple prince? Twilight Princess? It also looks like it says Courage Reborn, not Courage Reborn, but I think that is a G, the font just sucks. But no, I'm just kidding, I know what you guys actually want. Yes, Twilight Princess is gonna work on Switch. We'll talk about that in a little bit though. For now, let's just talk about some of the other things. Now, in the in-game menus section, which personally I'm a little mixed on, you can see a lot of different enhancements you can toggle on and off, which is interesting. For example, there's Climb Speed, Rupee Collect Animation, Iron Boot Speed, Tears Collect Speed, which is one of the most interesting to me, and Hookshot Vines Behavior, which I don't really know how you would change that, but it's an option, I guess. Tears Collect Speed, though, might hint to the ability to skip the tears altogether, or to have the Wii U tears, which there was less tears in the Wii U version. There might be multiple levels to that, which is awesome. Personally, on repeat playthroughs, I'd rather just skip the tear collecting in general. As well as that, mod support is a really cool feature. You know, I see a lot of people very excited for the Linkle mod, which the Dusk Project also has, which is pretty cool. I did post about both of these on my Twitter. Remember, I post updates there first, so if you want the most up-to-date information, go follow my Twitter, go check it out. Speaking of the Dusk Project, it's looking really good. Just recently, they showed off save states, as well as multiple language support, and while most people are really excited about both, like I said before, Courage Reborn has a massive trick up its sleeve: Switch support. Now, Switch support is very early in development. We've basically no footage of it, and a few people are skeptical about how it could happen. I got lots of DMs saying, how is this even possible? What did they do? How'd they get this working on Switch? It must have been a monumental task. And I'm sure it was. However, I didn't get permission to go fully into detail about how they're doing it, as well as that I didn't get permission to show how you're going to be doing it. However, if you're familiar with getting homebrew stuff on your Switch, you probably already have an idea of how you're going to put Twilight Princess Courage Reborn onto your Switch. All of this stuff is looking absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to try all of this stuff out. Now, we were given content creator builds to try out, however, they didn't have basically any of these enhancements. They were just a more stable running version, in quotes. Stable is in very big quotes, because for me, my footage is all basically completely useless. I will give a big flashing lights warning right here as I'm about to show the footage that I got. Big flashing lights warning. Look away if you're not into flashing lights. It ends when I say flashing lights are over. Now, as you can see, if you are seeing, this is an absolute mess. I would consider this one of the most unplayable builds of any game I've ever played before, which isn't exactly a high bar to clear. This was due to my low-end hardware, which they didn't account for. My computer was so bad it glitched out the game in ways not seen ever. Now, I wasn't given permission to go into detail about what caused this, but yes, it was an absolute disaster on my end. However, I wasn't the only one to get this build. Several other content creators have gotten builds, and I've been given permission to use their footage. Flashing lights are now over, and I want to say big thank you to the content creators who let me use their footage. One of the other content creators also had pretty low-end hardware and also experienced flickering, so I'm glad to see it's not just me who's running this game on an absolute potato, and I hope it gets more optimized in the future. Now, like I said, the content creators gave me permission to use their footage, which is so great. The Discord where they all reside is linked down below. They all make sure to send their content into the contents channel on the server, so if you want to watch more of their stuff, you can. Now, one of the content creators has shared footage of the speed at which the menus can be opened on both Courage Reborn and an emulated version, with Courage Reborn being significantly faster to get through that, which is awesome. It's one of those little things that, how's she going through the poison? It's one of those little things that you don't notice on a normal playthrough, but it will affect you very hard. In general, it's just a nice little quality of life thing, and I hope we have an option to speed this up even more. However, it's not all good. As you can see right here, there seems to be an invisible wall right here. This is a bridge you're supposed to rotate back and forth, and for some reason reason, even when it's rotated the correct way, it still has the collision as if it wasn't rotated the right way, which causes the forest temple to be completely impossible. I also had an issue with webs not actually burning when I tried to beat the temple normally. This is an issue in the last few builds, which means the forest temple has been impossible for a while and remains impossible in the newest build. Now this goes both ways. As you can see right here, it has the collision as if it's rotated the wrong way. Pretty weird, and I'm not sure what's causing this, but I'm sure it will be fixed eventually. This has been a consistent issue though. Both of these clips come courtesy of Rikai on the server, who has been a very consistent member, submitting a lot of glitches and making some good YouTube videos, link in description. On top of that, for some reason rocks don't get destroyed properly and just have perpetual flames when destroyed with the ball and chain. Very weird. I'm really not sure what's causing this. It feels completely unrelated, but whatever. The tears of light you get normally from killing the bugs at the beginning of the game don't work properly. For some reason they don't load in unless you reload the area. You can do this by saving and quitting or just unloading the area, and then all of the light will appear. This is really weird, and I don't know why it would be like this. I do have footage of this, but it's in my stream, which was all messed up, so I don't actually have footage of it. You can go check the VOD below if you want to see it. I don't want to show it too often here, so this is going to have to be a trust me bro moment. It's really messed up. There's plenty of more stuff that's messed up, but I don't want to just sit here and point out the bugs this game has. This is obviously still pretty early in development, so stuff like this is very expected. If you want updates or stuff like that, I have a Twitter. However, if you watched the trailer, you might have seen something else. Not only does it have a Linux Penguin logo, but it also has a Steam Deck logo, implying this was optimized for the Steam Deck specifically. Now, if you didn't know, my gaming PC kinda sucks because I play all my PC games on the Steam Deck. I do edit these videos on my Windows PC because that's just where I learned how to do it, but most of my gaming happens on the Steam Deck and my PS5. I'm a very bad PC player. I'm not very good at working with PCs. I'm a console player at heart. Man, I can't wait for this Steam controller. Man, it's gonna be so cool. But either way, yes, it has a build optimized for the Steam Deck. It is very early in development, but yes, I have gotten a build, and I'm currently the only one with a build, so I'm gonna show you some exclusive early footage. Yes, Twilight Princess on a Steam Deck. It runs quite well, in fact. It's not perfect. If you're actively looking for problems, you'll find them. But honestly, after a little while, I kind of forgot this was running natively on Steam Deck, and it just kind of felt like a widescreen hack of an emulated version. I didn't try out any of the enhancements like 60 FPS, because those are kind of broken already, and I didn't want to break it more. The lighting is pretty messed up. I believe that every single visual glitch that's in the Windows version is in the Steam Deck version current, at least from my testing. However, considering the Steam Deck is probably significantly more powerful than my PC, to be honest, this was running much better than my PC, and I'd rather play it here than on my PC. Considering, like I said, the Steam Deck is my main place for playing PC games, and I was intending to play it on the Steam Deck anyway, this is very exciting. In fact, I'd honestly be pretty much okay playing it just like this if 60 FPS worked. It's that good. I got to the second goat herding section before I realized, oh wait, I don't want this footage to be overly long, and had to call it, but honestly, up till then, there was nothing wrong with it besides a few visual glitches here and there. I'm sure there's still stuff like how the forest temple is impossible, but honestly, it was really good, and I'm so happy to see it. And I'm happy that you watched this video because it's over now. Pretty much everything you need is linked in the description. Join the Reborn server, it's also in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.